Hi, my name is Annie. I currently volunteer at Nicole's house. What brought me to Nicole's house in 2018 was my drug addiction and my criminal activity. I'll give you a little history on me. At 6 weeks old, I was abandoned by my mother, so rejection has played a deep-rooted part in my life. I grew up as a ward of the court, and probably about 16, I got drunk my first time, and then I started using drugs, searching and looking. When I was a young child, I went to church, and but through my teenage years, I rebelled, and I started searching. I searched in bars. I searched everywhere for something, but I didn't know what, because I was in rebellion. I got into a very abusive relationship and was in that relationship for 5 years until I was able to get free from it. At that time, I got a job for a doctor's office, and I started dating one of the guys that was a patient of ours. And we got married, had a beautiful boy named Zachary. I started college, and Zachary turned a year old, and my husband died 2 months after that with cancer. I was able to get through those times in church. I stayed in church. I took my baby, and we stayed in church. I was a junior in college, and I met and married my next husband. I graduated college with an education degree, and then I had 2 more children, Andrew and Brooke. We stayed in church, and we were real active in church. And then once that we started falling out of church and getting caught up in just life, my husband at the time got into pornography, and our marriage fell apart. At that time, I was in a very horrible divorce and custody battle. I lost my children. He got custody of my children, and at that time, I started using methamphetamine, and it became my God. Every time that I wasn't able to see my kids, he wouldn't let me see them or talk to them. Every time that I wouldn't be able to talk to them or see them, I would get high. And it became a vicious cycle. It became my life. I started breaking the law, getting put in jail, and then I was in jail for 9 months. I came out, and I stayed clean for 6.5 years. After that, I got a job at DHS, but I was still searching. And I got my oldest son, Zachary, back, and he was in the 10th grade. I got to see him graduate, was so blessed by that. And then he moved out, and I started searching again, and I started using again. In 2012, my life spiraled out of control again, and I went to prison. And it was at prison that I said, okay, God, my children were yours before they were mine, and I had to lay them at his feet and trust that he would bring them back into my life. I got out of prison. I was able to maintain my sobriety for about 3 months. I was living in a volatile situation with my sister, who was an alcoholic. I started using again. Death was looking better than life to me. And I was sitting one night, and I saw the news, and I saw Sandra Wormack on the news, and she was talking about she was fixing to open a transitional housing program for women coming out of addiction and incarceration. She talked about losing her daughter to an accidental drug overdose. And I thought, I need this woman in my life. She's taken something so horrible, and she's doing something good with it. I need her to teach me how to live. So I reached out to Sandy, and it took me several times to get accepted into the program. Entered the program in May of 2018, and graduated, was the first graduate in May of 2019. I have been clean since April 28th, 2 years ago. And I worked at Decision Point, more recently working with alcoholics and addicts. That is my heart, and God has placed that in my heart. And I hope and pray to be able to watch every one of these ladies graduate and enjoy the fruits of walking out their labor. I thank you for the sponsors and all the mentors and all the people involved on the board. Thank you for giving us a chance at life and showing us how to live. Thank you.